And Brenda, you want to share your screen? Oh, actually,
Sure.
yeah, I'll,
You want to
yeah, I'll share it
introduce
first.
yourself first?
Sure, yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. We're so excited to have you here with us for the Learn How to Set Your Goals for 2021. I'm Susu Wong. I'm the founder and owner of an online marketing agency called Tomo 360. We're a group of business and marketing and technology experts that's been around since 2022. I mean, 2012. And we offer online marketing services from website design, social media to marketing strategies. And I would like to introduce Brenda Lone Baker, who's the executive coach, and we've been working together for quite a few years.
Awesome. Thank you. Do you want to let me share?
Yep.
Awesome. I will pull this up and I will start my slideshow. There we go. All right. So like Susu said, I'm Brenda Lone Baker. I work with InnerOvation. I'm one of 3 co-founders, and we are an executive coaching and consulting firm. We work with leaders of all levels across the board. And specifically today, I'm talking mostly, I work a lot with business owners to help them really figure out what are the things that they can do to get where they want to go and how to do them and hold them accountable. So I'm excited to be here talking about setting better goals and really share some really good tips with you on how you can achieve your goals more easily. So let's dive in. And if you have any questions, you can certainly put them in the chat and Susu will let me know when they come up. So I'm one of those geeky people that really likes lists and spreadsheets and all of those fun things. So I love setting goals and then really reverse engineering back to how you can really get there. And I wanted to give you 5 really easy steps to make your goals more achievable today. So the first step is really knowing your outcome. What is it that you want to do? And with this, people usually have some kind of broad thing. I want to make more money. I want to make a certain number a year. I want to have so many clients. I want to get a promotion, whatever those things are. But what I want you to do is to get really, really specific about it. So not, I want to have more money, but I want to have $10,000 in my bank account by March 17th, 2021 at 10 a.m. Right? So really, really specific with it, laser focused on that goal, what that specific goal is. So one of the ways that can help you with that is by using SMART goals. Has anyone heard of SMART goals before? You can nod or raise your hand if you have. SMART goals really are, yeah, Susu has. SMART goals is really when you want to be specific, you want to be measurable, you want to make sure it's achievable, it's relevant, it has something to do with what your goal is, and it's time bound. So I will call 6 new leads every week because it will help me grow my business and get to my goal of having $10,000 in my savings account by March 17th, 2021. And then I always throw this in at the end. I like to give it an achievable scale. I like to put metrics on everything. Like I said, I'm a number geek. So once you do set that SMART goal, how achievable is it for you? If it's less than a 7, you want to go back and revamp it. And another fun little metric thing, you can put a metric on anything, even if it's a very intangible thing like my confidence. How confident are you? How confident are you in your business on a scale of 1 to 10? And then once you have a number, what would raise that number 1 point? That really helps you know where you should be focusing. What is the thing that's really going to help you get the movement to be able to take that next step? So using SMART goals, getting really specific about what you want to do, laser focused, and setting some SMART goals. The second thing that's really important in setting your goals is knowing why you want to do it. You really want to get emotionally connected to this goal. Why would you want $10,000 in your bank account? What's the purpose? Really, I'm a person that's not skinny mini, and I definitely have struggled with my weight, and I would like to lose weight. Once I could get to that point where I really understood my why is about being alive, not only with my grandchildren that I already have, but with the grandchildren that are to come, and be able to hike with them in the woods or go camping and be physically able to do that, have knees that I can do that, right? So my why is to be physically fit for a very long time to come, to experience the family that I know I'll have. That's such a powerful thing to have behind this number goal of losing weight, right? It really gives me a lot more oomph into doing those things, those hard action items that there are behind that goal. So if you can know your why, it can really help you move forward towards your goal. And there's a stat that's actually 80% of getting something done is the why, 20% is the how. So if you have that why behind you, you understand really powerfully what that goal will mean to you and what it will get you. Doing those action items that can be a pain, those are really just the ticking off the check boxes to get you to that goal. Having the why is a much bigger part of it. Another thing that's really important when you're thinking about your why is your values. A lot of people talk about values, they talk about the things that affect them, but we're not really sure in what our top core values are. And there's an exercise you can do that I'm happy to share with anyone who wants to do it. But really knowing what your 3 to 5 top values are is going to help you really understand your why then to get to your goal. And, I just listed some of the values that people have here just so you could kind of get an idea of what I was talking about. So then the third piece is to really take that massive action, right? So you've got the why, you're all bought in. Then really you want to be doing those things that you need to do to move towards it. If it's having $10,000 in your bank account, how are you going to get that first dollar or the first $5? What are the things that can get you to that place that you want to be? A great exercise that I share with a lot of people is to just set a timer for 20 minutes or 15 minutes and write down as many things as you can that might move you towards that goal. Just keep going, keep writing things, even if they don't seem like they really would, because you can go back at the end of the 15 minutes and say, oh, that number 20 there, that's actually a really good idea. I don't know where that came from, but that's a good one. I'm going to try that. So really taking massive action, having a strategy, looking at other people. So this is another great thing that people forget about. Really, everything's already been done, and you don't have to recreate the wheel. You can look at other people who have already done it and what are the things that they did to help them be successful in reaching that goal, whatever those goals are. And really have a roadmap. Know what your actions are going to be. So to that end, I have something I call an ideal week. Susu's seen this before. This is where I really plan out all of the different things that I'll do in a week, even down to taking a shower, exercise. It's a great thing because it really helps you know if what you're doing is realistic, if what you expect that you can fit into a week is realistic. There's also a great book, if anyone's familiar with it, called Getting Things Done. It's really a one, and there's lots of websites. It's actually a whole coaching process in and of itself. But it says if you can do it within 2 minutes, do it. Don't even write it down. If you can defer it, you should. Delegate it to someone else. That's a great thing. And if it's really not important, you drop it. But it's this whole process where it helps you keep track of the things that you need to do so that you can take them out of your head and have space to actually do things in your head instead of holding all of the things that you're trying to do. But it's a great resource. And then this is a funny thing that I learned when I was in finance. My manager at the time always talked about eating the frogs. And he would tell this long story about it. And some people, when they have a lot of things to do, you know, some of those things are really difficult, like the big ugly frogs. And some of them, you know, they're not fun, but they're the little small frogs. Depending on who you are and how you work, you can decide which of those things you want to do first. For me, I always liked to eat the biggest, ugliest frog first, call the scariest person on the phone and really, you know, get it over with. Because then when I was successful with that, all of the other frogs were easy to eat. And some people like to work their way up and start with the smaller frogs and get to the place where they can actually feel confident enough to go out and try the big frog. It's kind of a weird story, but it's a way of saying that think about the things that you need to do. And if they're difficult for you, how can you arrange them in a way to make them easier for you? Or how can you sandwich them? You know, if you've got a really difficult meeting that you have to go to, what song that always picks up your spirits can you listen to before, and what call can you have scheduled after that's someone that's really fun that you know is going to pick up your spirits again? Because then when you sandwich it with those two great things, the middle thing doesn't seem as bad and it takes a little bit of the weight off. Monitor your results. So really in life, what gets measured gets done. If we say, I want $10,000 in my bank account by March, but we have no action items behind it and we're just kind of putting it out there hoping that it will happen, it's not as likely to happen. If you have the action items and you monitor them, I'm going to make 5 calls per day. I'm going to email 3 leads every day, whatever those things are, and then monitor how you're doing and what comes of it. It's so much easier for that ball to keep rolling and get faster and faster, because you see when you've made those 3 calls or 5 calls that it turns into from a lead to a sale, then it's so much easier to make those 5 calls the next day because you know what it's going to come from. It also helps you with the last piece, which is being willing to change your approach. If you're not monitoring things, if you're not looking at how they're working, then you really don't know whether they're working or not. And so being willing to change your approach, you'll know if they're working if you're monitoring them. But then, you know, sometimes things don't work. There's a fine line, and it's kind of a hard thing to figure out when that is that you try something different, because you want to be consistent for a long enough time. But really, you know, being able to try different things, to fail fast, as they say in Lean Startup, so that you can find the way that works. And I love the Tony Robbins quote, you continue to change your approach until you achieve what you want using whatever life gives you along the way. It's really a very positive way of thinking of things. If you think about a child learning to walk, If they stopped the first time they fell down, they took 3 steps and they fell down and they said, "Oh, that's not going to work," they'd never walk. And so, like that with your business or with whatever you're trying, continue forward with it until you get what you're looking for. So I have a program. I'm going to talk more about it, I think, at the end, but it's a 6-week program that walks businesses through every different piece of their business so that they can see what piece of it they really need to hone in on and how they can do that. It gives you the tools to do that. So we'll talk a little more about that at the end, but I'm gonna let Susu share with us about the marketing canvas, and I'm very excited to hear this as well.
Sorry, I gotta be unmute.
That's okay. I was wondering, is there any questions in the chat?
I haven't seen any questions. Okay, can you see my screen?
Can, yes.
All right, great. Thank you. All right. So I developed this marketing canvas back in 2011 when I started my company. And I mean, I didn't develop them, but I started my business thinking about doing a marketing plan. And I did do a marketing plan that took me about 5 months. And it was a long, it took me a long time to figure out who I want to sell and what was my business like. So as I become more familiar with my business, I created this marketing canvas based on the lean startup model, which is like a one-pager. So the marketing canvas is a one-pager that allows you to put all the important things about your marketing plan into one piece. So, think about like a Post-it notes, right? It's something that you can do quickly and something that you could pivot, especially around this time with the pandemic. And, you need to pivot, when things change. And the other thing is sometimes business owners, they are overwhelmed with what they're doing, and they don't have time or the knowledge to figure out what their marketing plan should be. So this is a way for them to kind of put everything all in one piece. So you can start with your products and services. In here, you want to put down, what is your business, right? Your products that you're selling or your services that you're selling. And you can also think about, what are some of the additional services that you provide. So for the presentation, I'm going to give an example of a car washing business. So, so I have a car washing company and I provide car washing as my key services, right? But I also provide vacuum cleaning and shampooing, and we also do detailing as additional services. So you can put that in your box. And so next thing you want to think about is your market segments. So in here, you want to think about, where are your customers coming from? Are they professional people that come during lunchtime or after work? Now, it's different because, people are all working from home, so they could come in anytime when they're free. Are they in your local communities? Where do they live? How far do they live? And why and how they're buying from you. So think about, who are your customers? You can base it on your current customers or your target customers. The next thing is market size. So market size could be a little bit tricky, right? The car service, car washing business could be billions of dollars. But think of it in a way of how you can generate your your revenue, right, in your industry, in your area, your location. Could be within 10 to 15 miles of your area, right? Unless, you are so famous that people will, drive an hour away to just to come to your service. So, really thinking about your immediate competition too, like how many car washing services are in your area, right? So in my town, we always have one. It's been there forever. And then all of a sudden, I think it's Golden Nugget or something came by, and they offer, a monthly subscription where you pay $49.99 for unlimited car washes. So that's going to impact your market size. In here, you really want to think about what the market demand would be and how much revenue you can actually generate. So next is about your customer persona, right? So it could be anybody, right? It could be families, could be professional people. It could be it could be really like different age groups, different locations. And here you want to think about their buying habits, right? What influenced their decision making to buy from you? Why do they buy from you? It could be really anything, right? They could be, I like the ambience of your space. It could be, it's on my way to go home or on my way to work, and I'll do that. So think about why they buy from you, right? And it could be other things like we have an automatic tunnel where people just go in, it's easy for them, right? Or it could be do it yourself car wash, right? These people like they don't really want to people to touch their cars, right? They want to do it yourself, or it could be self-service pay. So these are like all the different customer persona and their demographics that you can reach out to. And then lastly, how long do they spend at the car wash? What are the things that you can help to upsell them? Maybe they're too busy, you want to upsell them, some detailing. So you just think about all these different groups of people will help you to determine your marketing strategies to these types of people. Okay, so in here is key benefits, right? So why do people buy from you, right? Um, you want to figure out what exactly you're providing them for benefits, right? The main benefits is I need a car wash. And the alternative benefit could be, well, they want to maintain the value of their car. They want to look good, right? They want to, really just, have the car clean and have a professional experience. Maybe they take a lot of clients to their car, so they need to make sure that it looks good for them. So some of these things could translate into your messaging of what your service provides. How do you stand out your competition? So it's not just a regular car wash. There are a lot of underlying benefits that you can tap into. And key features are, really describing exactly what your products or services look like, right? So in my car washing business, I used eco-friendly cleaning solutions, and I don't recycle the water. It's from real water, tap water, and there's spot-free water. So those are kind of like the features, right? We wash, we wax, we hand dry, and we detail the interior of your car. And by the way, we also have someone to hand dry your car for free after your car wash, right? So these are like the features that you provide. It could be different service level or packages, right? It could be, pay me $40 and you can come as many times as you want until the paint comes off your car, right? Or it could be one time only, right? I noticed that like some of the car washes, it's more expensive to do it yourself than going through the tunnel. So, figure out what kind of service levels and prices that you can offer. SWOT analysis is a marketing assessment on your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, these are both external or internal, right? For strengths, these are the things that your business does well and that you have control over most of the time. For example, what does your company do well that your competition doesn't, right? Maybe you're more friendly, you clean the cars better, cleaner, or you provide, a 3-day guarantee that you can come back, right? Internal factors could be, um, you as a business owner, you have, like, let's say, special certification, really unique experiences that other people don't, right? Education level, those are some of the things that are internal to you. Um, and maybe your business have a very good location, you're next to Dunkin' Donuts and people come by all the time, right? You have a very good brand recognition, like people know right away that who you are, right? So those are some of the strengths. And weaknesses could be what your business does poorly. For example, you're not in a very good location, or you don't have a lot of demand for your business, right? And or you need a special new equipment that's too hard to buy, or you don't have enough people that you can hire. I hear a lot about landscaping business. It's hard to find good help. So some of those are weaknesses, externally. It could be an internal weakness, something that you don't enjoy doing or you don't know how to do. For me, it will be like doing doing finance, doing accounting. Other people could be operations or doing sales. And by identifying your weakness, then you can go and hire the people or get help. So it's not just weakness, it's something that you recognize and that you can fix. Um, Opportunities are, sometimes it could be factors outside of your control, right? Or it could be an advantage to your business, right? For example, technology advances, right? You have something unique that other businesses don't have. Or you can take advantage of new trends, things that a lot of nobody's really doing in your area, right? Something that's new, right? Like, let's say for a marketing agency, it could be, a new software that we can take advantage of. Maybe you have some good PR, mentioning you, and someone mentioning you in Boston Globe, right? Those are good opportunities. And then lastly is a threat, right? These are things that, that is hard to control, but that you need to identify them, right? We're in the middle of a pandemic, right? There's not a lot of market demand out there. These are the things that you need to think about, how you can mitigate the threats that are happening to your business and be able to kind of switch and pivot to an area of opportunities. So that's the SWOT analysis, and I think that's the end of that. So given everything about, putting the plan together and knowing your customers, your segment and all those things, then you can create a good online marketing strategy to increase your marketing presence and also your business. So that was the marketing strategy. I'm also offering a digital marketing class starting in March. If you're interested, I'd like to set up a quick call with you to see what the program is like. And I'm gonna turn into any questions. Any questions, Brenda?
Now I'm curious if any of the participants have any questions. Does everybody know, who really is their customer persona?
You can either put it in the chat or you can, unmute yourself and ask questions. It's a quiet crowd today.
It is a quiet crowd today.
Brenda. what do you think about, when people putting the plan together, what are some of the obstacles that they encounter when they
So
do that?
I love what you were saying, and it was funny because I also, when I start with my business class, we go through the lean canvas. So we use a very similar thing to go through really who is your customer. And a lot of times businesses think they know who their customer is, but when they do the work to really make sure of it and do the testing and the research, they might be slightly off or way off. And I
Mhm,
think the other thing that I've found is that the messaging that people have can be off. We do this funky thing as humans. When we hear someone say something, we translate it to the words we would use, right? But
mhm,
when you're selling something, when you're putting your things out there, you want to really speak in the language that that ideal client or that customer is
mhm,
speaking in. So you wouldn't want to say, that really they want a car wash uh, fast if really they're saying that they want a car wash that's quick. I mean, that's silly, but it could be that simple that the words are just
mhm.
that different.
Yeah.
So I find that a lot of times. And then I find that businesses have a hard time because they want to just do it right. And so they're fearful to go out and try something
Mhm.
until they know that it's right. But how do you know that it's right if you haven't tried anything? So, kind
Yeah.
of putting themselves out there and trying things. I think that's what I've seen is
Yeah,
another.
I mean, for during this year, it's been a long year since the pandemic, right? A lot of our clients have to really pivot into other things to promote themselves. One
Mhm,
of our nonprofit client is, had to do a lot of virtual events to get the sponsorship and donations because they can't have the events anymore, right?
mhm.
So I'm sure it happens with a lot of the businesses, like, where do you find the customers, right? You know, all the behavior and then patterns have changed, right? So
Mhm.
you have to kind of pivot into a different marketing strategy to accommodate the change.
Totally. I was working with a bunch of crafting businesses in an accelerator recently, and they get the majority of their clients from going to these big crafting conferences. Well, none of those are happening. So they've all had to really do a lot of pivoting as well.
Yes. Are there any questions? Hi, Reem. It's good to see you. Long time no
Hi,
see.
hi, Susu. It's nice to see you. Um, Susu knows my business. We go way back. But I have a community marketplace for help. And so, Susu, when I'm filling out, it's super helpful to have the marketing canvas. Thank you. I
You're
knew the
welcome.
business canvas, I didn't know the marketing canvas.
Yeah.
But we have so many customer personas we address that it's just mind boggling because we have students, we have parents, we have small business owners, home business owners, we have retirees, we have really older people who don't even use the internet. Um, and so, like, how do I even juggle a marketing strategy for that many segments?
Yeah, I think that's a good problem to have too, right? That means you have a lot of customers, right? I think, as Brenda's mentioned, the messaging of, to the different market segments, are important, right? So you want to have the type of content that will resonate with the group of, your different customer segments, right? For the seniors, it will be different than the high schoolers, right? So,
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 fill it out separately for each segment.
well, I think that you can point out on your website, like, what are some of the things that they can take advantage of, what services that you provide for each group of customers,
Mhm.
right? There's going to be an underlying benefit on why people come to
Mhm.
your site. right? So that's the overarching benefit. And then for individual, right, you know, moms looking for nannies, right, or help, right, kids looking for jobs, right? Those are all unique benefits that each group can tap into from your site. Brenda, you have any suggestions?
I totally agree. And I just wanted to jump on board with that there may be some messaging that goes across the board, right? And some of those people may talk the same way about your services. And then I think as long as you accent the different kinds of things for the different people, but I love filling out both the marketing canvas, and I do use a business lean canvas. That's what I teach for every product or every customer, because really sometimes that's the only way to find out where the message meets up and where it's different, so that you can really maximize as much as you want, as much as you possibly can, where the messaging should be the same, and then really target specific things. As Susu would probably tell you, like if you're doing social media, the teenagers, the high school kids are going to be in a totally different place than the seniors. And so really you can target your social media then with their specific message. But on your website, you want to have some of the overarching things, but then also target in different ways all of your clients.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like, you know, if you do email marketing, right, you can segment all your different customers into contacts, right? So you're giving, you know, the seniors the contact they're looking, you know, the content they're looking for, right? So you can target them and they'll open the email because it relates to them. So it's not like, you know, one size fits all.
Right.
Yeah.
I should do that.
Yeah.
What other questions? Could you please share more about the business canvas model? Sure. So the business canvas model looks at 5 different areas. It looks at who, right? Who you're serving. It looks at what it is that you're doing for them. So similarly here, right? The benefits of your product, what are the, what sets you apart from your competition, who your ideal client is, where you're going to find them. That's the third piece, is where you interact with them, how, all of those things that you need to do to be able to do your business. You know, do you need legal help? Do you need coaching? Do you need a lawyer? Do you need an accountant? Do you need a new computer? Do you need an email system? You know, so it's who, what, how, where, and then why. Why are we doing it? So that's the 5 different breakouts of the lean business canvas. And in my program, we walk through all of those, and I share a lot of tools on how you can really hone in on each one. And what happens is that once you do that, then you're looking at this one page again that really clearly shows which is the area or 2 areas that you really need to concentrate on. Is that helpful? Does that answer your question?
That's great, Brenda. I think that, you know, you're going to save some money along the way too. So you're not doing, you know, putting a campaign out there that doesn't really fit what you're trying to do, right? You always kind of want to start with your goal and then decide how you're going to do it and whether it makes sense to go into a certain direction.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And some of the tools to figure that out, because, you know, we can say, well, who is my ideal customer? But
yeah,
how do you figure that out? And then how do you know what they say or how you should market to them?
I know we talk about that all the time. Who are your ideal customers?
Right.
And then where do you find them, right?
Exactly. And I love to say, not only where do you find them, but where do you find a whole bunch of them cheaply and easily?
Right.
Right. Any other questions? So, yeah, go ahead. You can unmute yourself.
Sorry, I've been back and forth with my kids playing hide and seek and stuff, like trying to get. So I don't have a business, but I'm trying to like kind of organize myself so that I can achieve my goals. Like I find myself like getting caught up with like just so many emails coming in and just like feeling like behind on things. And so I was wondering if you have any like email tips and or like software to like help with like scheduling meetings and stuff so you can just like save time. Yeah, like I've heard of things like, or I've been using Unroll, Boomerang, Undocs, another scheduling one. Yeah, just I don't know if you have any other like things that you would recommend.
So Susu might have some other ideas, but I think my first thing to you is it's really difficult to focus when emails are constantly popping up and you're constantly seeing it. And so everything else that you're doing is getting interrupted and it's taking your focus. So the first thing I always say is put your email on push. And that means there's a setting in your email that it only checks for new emails when you tell it to, right? So if you're working on a project, you don't want to see those 17,000 emails coming across the top. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is, getting things done is probably a great book or website for you to look at because there are priorities, right? Some of those emails you can answer in a minute or two, right? Yes, I'll be there. Send me the invite, right? Those you can do right away if you're not working on a project. But some of the other ones, you might need to set up a system for yourself on how you prioritize them and decide, when you're going to do that. I actually set aside a half an hour to an hour a day just to answer emails and get rid of them.
Yeah. I'm probably not the good person to talk about it. I have a lot of emails, but one of the things that that I encourage you to do is just check email, like, certain time of the day, like, beginning of the day or half, at noon and then at night. So, before you're done with work, so then you can organize your time better. Another thing about scheduling is recommended calendar. So you can actually put a link to Calendly to have people schedule it with you. I used to use that. Now I use HubSpot, and HubSpot is another way that you can integrate into your customer relation management system, CRM. And both of them can do Zoom calls. I think I don't know if Calendly can do Zoom calls. But,
you can put your Zoom link in there. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
I use Calendly as well to let people schedule, and you can set it up so that certain times are blocked.
Mm-hmm. And then the third thing I would do is assign task. So you can, I don't know if you use Gmail, or Outlook probably does that too, is assigning a task and give it a time. So then it will remind you, 2 days from now, you can answer the email if it's not that important. But I like what Brenda said, do the ones that are important, takes like 2 seconds, and then wait for the ones that needs a little longer. So then you can, manage your time better. Does that help, Emily?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I'll definitely check out Calendly and HubSpot. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Anybody else?
What other questions?
I'm sure you have a lot of questions.
You can ask anything about business or marketing. It doesn't just have to be about what we've just spoken about.
Right. Set up an
I love that.
folder.
Reem, awesome.
Yes.
Unsubscribe from everything.
Can take an all day doing that. Oh, another thing that I did was I segment the emails, filter them out to like social and then promotional. So then I can do a global delete.
That's
Those
nice.
will help. Yeah.
But all of those take time to be able to do.
Yes, but yes,
They're worth
especially
it.
the unsubscribe ones. Yeah. So for the attendees, have you experienced a lot of changes in your business? A lot of things, Kevin is nodding his head, right? Kevin is in the photography business.
Yeah, well, I guess particularly in my business where I come in contact with a lot of people, we saw a big drop off. I'm not in the wedding industry but I am in the entertainment. So a lot of corporate functions, things like that were lost. I guess what I'm trying to do, I kept thinking, okay, it's eventually going to end. It's coming to that point. I'm even getting a vaccine shot in a few weeks. So it's coming to an end, but client-wise, finding those new clients. So you talk about it in the marketing canvas, to pick out those clients. I'm going to have to find some new ones because my regular ones aren't going to be there right now. So any way to help set up something like that? What questions do you ask yourself? That kind of thing.
Sure. I think, one of the things, it's definitely so if you had a nice corporate gig going, which that's great, right? But they're all really shifting. It's taking the time to think of a couple of different things. One, I would say, what's the low hanging fruit out there? What are the things that you could shift to very easily? And maybe it's even, I don't know. I'd have to work with you on it to like get you to that point, but there might be some things that those corporations would still need that you could still provide them. And so kind of spending some time thinking about that because you've already got these clients, right? So how do you keep that already warm, happy people and shift them and just give them a different service? And then the other side would be thinking about what other clients could you come up with? And I would start with, where are your networks? Looking at your LinkedIn and who are you connected to that you might be able to easily kind of shift over into that space of whatever they're needing. Does that make sense? Do you
Yeah,
have anything to add, Susu?
I think that it's kind of raising the brand awareness of your business again, starting, and present to a new group of people. So, kind of going out to find where the new customers would be and who would need your service, right? I think that there's still people that need, photography and it's just in a different capacity, right? It could be a different kinds of service, right? That you could do without doing face-to-face.
Right. And there might be some different messaging. I have a photographer that really had to shift her messaging a little bit to let the moms of the new infants who still wanted these pictures of their little beautiful little infants that are going to grow up, but how she shifted her messaging so that she made sure they understood how safe it was and all the things that she did to keep it safe, right? So it might be something like that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
I found my business is down 30% year to year.
Yeah.
Since I'm doing my taxes, I know that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, the market will come back up soon with the vaccination. I know this is a difficult time for everyone. But, I think that we're turning around and we have to really kind of think about how to pivot and get yourself out there.
Yeah, I would second you on that, Susu. It's definitely can be very discouraging, but if you can shift your way of thinking that it's an opportunity, what other avenues does this open up for you that you might enjoy, or you might meet some people that you didn't meet before with the way you were doing business? And so think of things as an opportunity and be
Yeah.
open to the shift.
Right. We're focusing on a lot of one of our new type of customers, excuse me, government agencies, because they always need to spend money, right? So, we just think about who are the people out there that you could tap into that need your type of business or service. And sometimes you have to think outside the box to find them. All right. Well, are there any other questions?
Oh, there's two. Let me just check the chat. Yep. So Unroll Me is great for unsubscribing from things, and helparoundtown.com connects neighbors so they can find help when they need it and work when they want it. That's great.
So we recorded this, and we'll send out the recording and a quick survey, and we'll also let you know both Brenda and mine our classes, just to see if you're interested. And Brenda, you have anything else you want to cover?
I do. I just want to say that on both of the classes, we linked up to give you a special on both of them. And really, they do work very well together, because a lot of what I do gives you all of the information that then you can use in Susu's classes to take it out there and create the plans. And also, I think we're both available. So if you have another question that comes up, or a question that you didn't want to ask here in this big forum, feel free to reach out to us. And I know there'll be a follow-up email with links to both of the programs and some of the other things that we've discussed.
And I will include you in the email, and you can use Unroll if you want to unsubscribe. But we have a lot of different webinars that we'll offer up. So thank you for coming. And we enjoyed having you, and we hope to see you soon. Good luck with all your services and business. Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
Have a great one. Bye.